Oh, hello, everyone. Looks like we've got a few people coming in. Hello. We'll be going live in a sec. Welcome, welcome. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll just give everyone a couple of minutes to join us today, and then we'll get started. Oh, fantastic. All right, 39 so far. Brilliant. Okay, we'll just give it another couple of seconds, then maybe we'll get started. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to come and take a look at the Academy and have us tell you about the Animal Logic Academy here. My name is Alex Waite. I'm the creative lead at the Academy. We're also joined by Chelsea Hocroft, who is one of our students, and we're looking forward to chatting to you all. I would also like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Ora Nation, upon whose ancestral lands our city campus now stands. I would also like to pay respect to the elders, both past and present, acknowledging them as the traditional custodians of knowledge of this land. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. So just a heads up, we'll be recording this session so we can, people can take a look at it later on if you'd like. I hope that's fine with you all. But just by taking part in the session, you know that it'll be recorded. So wonderful. All right, Jen, we can go to the next slide. So a little bit of an introduction to us both. My name is Alex Waite. Like I said, I'm the creative lead of the Animal Logic Academy. I have about 25 years of experience in the industry in animation and visual effects. Working at companies like Animal Logic, Flying Bark, Rising Sun on movies like Happy Feet, Legend of the Guardians, Peter Rabbit, and Blinky Bill. I've worked through in animation as animator to animation director and director across a few projects as well. And so really at this point, I enjoy bringing my experience to helping the students achieve their goals in the industry. We also have Chelsea here today, who is joining us as well. Hey, Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm a current student at ALA. I have a Bachelor of Film and Animation from the University of Southern Queensland up in Toowoomba. And I'm pretty excited about today. Pretty excited about our course in general.
Fantastic. Great. Okay, Jen, next slide, please. So, we jump through a few. Just our agenda for today. So we do have a video of the academy so we can show you the studio, show you what it looks like, give you a tour of everything over there. Then we'll go over to an overview of the Animal Logic Academy and the MAV. Just so you know, we call it the MAV shorthand, but it is what we mean is the Master of Animation and Visualization. So if you hear us say MAV, that's what we're talking about. So we'll go over each component of that, hopefully to get all your questions and any of those details answered. And then at the end of that, we'll have a Q&A with both myself and Chelsea. And then at the end, we'll leave you with some information of how to apply, because that's what we're here for today, to give you all an opportunity to take a look, and hopefully you want to come and join us in the future. Brilliant. Okay, next slide, please. So questions. We will be doing live questions at the end, but throughout the course, if something, throughout the webinar, if something piques your interest and you have a question, feel free to ask it at any time down the bottom. Just click on the chat, the Q&A button, and you can type in your question. We do have a couple of people who will be answering your questions as we go, but I'll also go through them and answer them live. A little tip, if you see another question that you like the look of, give it a thumbs up, and those questions that have votes will rise to the top. So we'll make sure that we get to those ones, because if there are a lot of questions, we'll, we do want to get to them all. Generally, I think what we'd like to do is go through this talk in about sort of half an hour, and then give everyone a good sort of half an hour of Q&A at the end. So allow for all those questions to be answered. Brilliant. All right. So we're going to kick off with a little bit of a poll to start with. Are you interested in studying the Master of Animation and Visualization MAV next year in 2021? So they'll just take a few seconds to answer this one. You can just click on it now. We've got a good percentage who are looking at joining us. Couple who aren't sure when they want to study yet, but are joining us. That's good. Well, look, hopefully this is going to help you get over the line. Fantastic. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting poll. So we do have a good chunk of people who want to join up next year. That's great to hear. And a percentage who aren't sure yet. But okay, wonderful. All right, Jen, could we go to the next slide, please? Sorry, I'll just end that. Oh, sorry. Have you attended any UTS Animal Logic Academy webinars previously? Another poll we're just going to get through with everyone too. We like to do these over the years to give everyone a chance of experiencing the Academy and answering some questions. So good if you've joined us before, but hopefully we're getting some newbies as well. We are. Brilliant. Okay, I think we're good on that one too. So we have a video now to show you the Academy and take you through the studio. I think we're going to kick that off now.
Hello, my name's Alex Waite. I'm the creative lead of the UTS Animal Logic Academy. I'm here to introduce you to our studio. So what we do here at the Academy is replicate a studio environment for the students, which is our point of difference from other educational institutions. So whereas in other places you might work on a single project by yourself over the course of the year, here, like in the industry, students will work together on a single project together collaboratively. So it's a big point of difference that we do. We separate the students into departments like you'll find elsewhere, into animation, layout, art, and so on. And they will work together on a project, on an idea that they have decided on and pitched to us from the beginning of Studio One. So they will get together, come up with lots of ideas that we'll work on, and then one idea will rise to the top, which we decide to move on through to the end of the year. This year, they're working on Spirit. Here's some artwork from it, which is based on this image. It was really the one that kind of inspired the whole project. It's about a baby wombat escaping from a bushfire. It's pretty exciting. We've decided to take a more naturalistic kind of idea for this project than previous to last year. We're doing creature animation, effects, fire, fur, you name it. It's pretty awesome. As you can see, it goes from art department through to modelling, design, some effects. There's quite a lot of things that the students work on over the course of the year before moving to Studio 2, which is more VR component of that. As you know from current circumstances, things are a little bit difficult at the moment, but our students are still able to work on our projects remotely. Currently, students like Heath here is working on our Fire Spirit by remote. They're logging into our VPN servers and are able to access not only the hardware that we have here, but the software specific to their project, whether it's modeling, VFX or animation and so on, which is actually pretty cool. So it's still collaborating together, but what we're actually doing at the moment is replicating the industry environment, because companies like Animal Logic, ILM, Flying Bark are all working this way at the moment because none of them can be in studio. What's actually pretty exciting is that there's been an influx of funding from government at the moment for animation studios, and the animation industry is thriving. There's a lot of projects coming into Australia at the moment, and these practices are what's going to help our students carry forwards and get jobs in the industry from here on in. So come with me, let's check out some other areas of the studio. As you can see, it's a pretty large space, pretty fun. We do have some students who are working in studio at the moment while maintaining their 1.5 metre distance. It's voluntarily, of course, but we like to have it here for those of them who still want to come in and have an experience of the studio. So come with me here and we'll just introduce you to another student who's currently working on our project. Hey Chelsea.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Chelsea is one of our students working on Spirit at the moment. I went through art department and moving on to some other areas as well. So Chelsea, why don't you tell us a bit about your experience at the MAV so far?
Well, the MAV this year has been pretty exciting. It's a good opportunity and meeting a lot of people and having a lot of fun in the studio environment.
Cool. And what did you work on at the beginning of the year?
We worked on Spirit. So we pitched a bunch of ideas together, and then we all picked our favourite, and now we're working on it, and it's pretty fun to see it coming to life and coming together.
Cool. And how have you found working in a collaborative team versus working sort of individually as you did previously?
It's so fun. I've made so many friends, but it's a lot different because everyone has their own skill that they're specialised in, and so working together, it really creates something special. It's so exciting.
Awesome. And so that's for Spirit. So then in Studio 2 we did a VR project. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, in Studio 2, we also did the pitching project process again, but this time we did it to industry professionals, international industry professionals. But we had a lot of fun playing around with new and emerging technologies and seeing what we could create, what we could make. And in the end, we decided for something that's more an experience than a game. So I can't wait to see how it ends up and how it all looks at the end of it.
Awesome.
It's pretty exciting.
Cool. Thanks, Jobs. All right. Thanks, everyone. That's our studio. There should be a link at the bottom of the screen to get more information. But then Chelsea and I will be available to answer any of your questions in the webinar. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well done, Chelsea. That was good. Love seeing yourself on screen, hey. Always fun. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get into it. What is the UTS Animal Logic Academy? So we look at ourselves as being a industry-focused kind of connection between UTS and Animal Logic, but also the industry. And so what we do is respond to a gap in the growing industry for students to get experience while learning and enter the industry easily. So what that means is the point of difference between us and other studios, like we said beforehand, is that we replicate the studio environment. And that really is our big point of difference because the students who leave us don't kind of come away with a year of education. They really come away with a year of education, and also a year of experience, of industry experience. And I know how hard it is for people who are juniors and looking to get that kind of step into the industry in their first job. And it's, a lot of places do ask for that experience. And how do you get experience if you can't get the job first? And it's difficult. And that's kind of the position that that ALA and the MAV kind of provides. What we have from that so far, and because of that, and because we've been teaching the students that ability to work together and to work on a pipeline, our graduating students have a 90% employment record after leaving our academy, which is just fantastic because the industry has just been eating them up. They just, love all our, love our students and kind of already, put out feelers for students halfway through the year of who they can get before they graduate, which is fantastic. So what we do as well is another thing to remember is that we're always responding to the industry. We're not kind of, we're not kind of stuck in our ways. So if software or sort of pipeline changes, we change and adapt accordingly. So our graduating students are using all the industry equivalent software or the industry kind of tools and pipeline and processes. So, they don't have to kind of relearn anything when they enter these studios. It's the same software, animation, effects, compositing, lighting software that pretty much all the big industries and companies are using nowadays as well, which is, a huge benefit too. So Jen, can we go to the next slide, please? So another thing that's different with us and other masters is that we do ours over a year. It's a 1-year accelerated master's course. We do that by making our course 5 days a week, 9 to 5. Although our 5th day, our Friday now, is a student self-learning day where we encourage the students to work on their own projects and at the end of the year put together and work on their reels and CVs that will help them kind of get those jobs as well. But really, it's because it is 9 to 5, 5 days a week, it does replicate a work environment, which means that we can get a lot more work done over that time. And also the students have access to the leads, and the teachers a lot more than your standard kind of master's degree does as well. It is a collaborative environment, and you'll hear us say this word, and other teachers will say this as well, this phrase called soft skills. And that's something that we pride ourselves on. And what does that mean? And what that really is us teaching the soft skills are how to collaborate, how to work together, how to work on a team, how to take feedback, how to give feedback. And it's all those things that, in my experience, differentiate a junior from a senior. Because, I get asked this a lot when I do kind of talks about animation, and I've worked with juniors who can animate just as well as a senior can, and really then ask me, okay, why aren't I a senior? Because I can animate that well. And really it doesn't come down to that. I mean, that is a big aspect of it, but it's not just animation, it's every department. And what it comes down to is the ability to work together with others, take feedback, understand what is needed, and then deliver it again. And that's something that we really kind of hammer home over the course of the year, so that when our students leave, they're able to kind of hit the ground running on any project in any kind of department because they're used to that process. Throughout the course of the year as well, to sort of to help teach the students, we do have a lot of guest speakers come in, because we are sort of, hand in hand with these other companies. We get a lot of speakers from Animal Logic. We get, throughout the entire course of the project. So pretty much every month or so, we have a few talks of, supervisors, of artists, of technical people coming in and giving and sharing their experience and showing what they've been working on, which is just a huge help. Actually, just this last week, we had 2 speakers from Animal Logic come and talk to the students, talking about the more sort of post-production aspect of the pipeline. We have the other thing as well is the films and the projects that the students are working on do get out there in the industry and do get out there globally. The course is recognized globally as well. And so it's a real big kind of benefit for the students graduating, because the Academy is known by other companies, and companies overseas as well know our graduating students and know the work that we're doing. So there's, big help there as well. And what we're finding now in the industry, because that we are sort of adapting, is this extra push towards AR and VR, but also real-time rendering and real-time kind of filmmaking. And we'll talk about that a bit later, but that ability to take your skills from the visual effects and animation world into real time is something that's becoming more and more important nowadays as well. Next slide, please, Jen. So the Academy pushes towards towards two directions. You can have your creative career and your technical career. With creative careers, we do have students who have come to us from the sort of fine arts area as well. It's not just people who are focused on 3D or on programming or effects. We do have people who've come from, design and illustration and fine arts, because at the end of the day, the principles of design and color and light can be applied no matter what the software is. The software really is just the medium to deliver it, but what's important is the understanding of those concepts. And so I really one of the things that we've heard from people who have applied and was that they didn't want to apply early because they're worried that they didn't have the skills or the ability to join the Academy. And I really want to reiterate that it's, everyone should apply. Everyone should kind of take the chance, because you don't have to have these high-end skills that you might see in sort of some of the short films or that, that look like that we're learning, because you do get taught a lot of them over the course of the year. But also really it's about the fundamentals of those skills that you're learning now that you can use and adapt to the software and adapt to the process. So, if you're sitting on the fence and you do come from one of those more sort of traditional art backgrounds, but this is an area that you're interested in, I'd really recommend kind of getting in touch and showing us your work, because, a couple of our best lighters and compositors at the moment come from that more traditional art background. And it's just amazing to see those skills translate into a more technical world. What else? Oh yeah, there's a few departments that people in those areas can kind of slide into quite easily. So matte painting is one, environment painting. So whenever you see a movie that has sort of it's called a set extension or a digital environment, where there might be sort of a shot of someone at down by the ocean, but then in the background there's a whole different world or a different kind of from a different time that's usually painted in by hand or using Photoshop. And they're the kind of things that people with more kind of artistic backgrounds are really quite good at. So matte painting, also surfacing and lighting, the ability to understand color and light. And then of course some more sort of production focused areas of animation and modeling as well help with, can come from those people with those sort of traditional backgrounds too. So there's there's just so many aspects in the creative world in an animation pipeline that, that you can branch off into. There's just loads. So don't feel that it's simply just modeling and animation and effects. There is a lot to kind of experiment with. And the same is for technical. Do you want to go to the next slide? So, all VFX facilities have coding teams. Yes, they do. So much, even animation. So in every department you'll have what we call TDs, so technical directors. And these TDs are juniors as well. They'll come in and they'll help every department work through any of the technical issues that they have. And this can be everything from just knowing and understanding the software to actually writing code. So there's a whole sort of range of this technical aspect of the pipeline, from people who literally write the software and the tools that are needed and plugins and that every department use, to the people who are a bit more of the creative technicals, who kind of get a bit more hands-on with the process and work with programs like Houdini, or even work in Maya, and can work with more of the sort of technical aspects of a job, like muscle simulation, fur caching, lighting and character effects, all these kind of little different things that are a little bit more technical or too technical for the sort of artist to work on, but needs someone who's both technical and also has a creative eye. So we do get people who come in who are just straight coders. We get people who come in who are a mix. And there is so much work out there. Actually, look, I don't want to say there's more, but there is a lot for the technical people who have coders, who have coding experience. There is so much work out there in the industry for you, because A lot of people with that background just don't consider the film and visual effects world as a viable option. And there is just so much out there. So I really do encourage you to kind of look into this as an option. So something else, I would like to introduce the team. But something else I just wanted to mention about the technical things, sorry, Jen, I'm making you bounce back and forth, is that at the moment, we do have students who are working sort of a mixed mode. So students can come into the studio and work in the studio using our tools, but also the majority of our students nowadays are working remotely. And this is due to, you know, our IT team has done an amazing setup by creating this, you know, we've got a VPN where the students can log into their computers from home and use the tools from home. So they don't have to, you know, people don't have to be in if they don't want to be in, because it is just voluntary. But this system, which is amazing, and you know, is actually one that all these companies are using at the moment. So I've just been chatting to some friends over at Animal and at Flying Bark, and they're doing basically the same thing, which is pretty cool. So you know, another reason why, you know, we're matching industry, but this kind of process and what we're doing at the moment is something that we will continue to next year. So obviously, for those of you who are worried about, you know, having to be face-to-face or, you know, coming into studio for that, we do have this same system set up and we'll be rolling it through to next year as well. So next slide, please. Okay, so here's our team. I'm the creative lead. We have Daniel Flood, our technical lead. Daniel also has, you know, over 15 years of industry experience. Dylan Neal, our VFX lead, also has over about 20 years of industry experience. Ian Thompson, head of Academy. Sarah Giddy, who I think is joining us. They're both joining us here today as well. Studio coordinator, and Naomi Q is our Pipeline Academy support. Naomi actually was a graduate from last year and did such an amazing job working on the pipeline and working with the tools that she was asked to come back and join us to support the students for this year, which is wonderful. So all of our teachers and all of our leads do come from industry, you know, and all have, you know, a connection with the industry, a connection with the tools, a connection with all the companies out there, and first-hand experience. So, you know, they are able to talk to the students with authority and with knowledge and experience about how the pipeline works and how these tools work, and help guide everyone through the process, through the academy. So if we can just go to the next one, please. Here's some fun pictures. So here's our collective experience. Look, as you can see, we've worked on quite a few films over, you know, between us all. There's a lot of Aussie ones, mostly. A few kind of, you know, Dylan worked on Lord of the Rings, and really these projects kind of just, you know, put this here to go to show like how much experience the leads have, and kind of, you know, how much we've all been working in the industry and on what. So across these films, we cover sort of everything from animation to assets to rigging to effects to you know, IT to char effects to previs and layout, modeling. I mean, you name it. There's kind of, we cover the broad spectrum of experience across these films, and you know, it's yeah, some pretty fun ones in there actually. I forgot about Legend of the Guardian, so that's a good one. All right, next slide, please. Okay, how does it work? I'll just do a quick breakdown of the 3 studios. So most of you are probably used to a 4-semester year. We do a trimester. We break our year up into 3 studios. It's quite intense, but that's the point, you know, because we need to get a lot done over the course of the year. So Studio 1, the connected studio. So in Studio 1, we develop the idea and that we will take into being the short film. So as I said in the talk, the students are broken up into groups, and we go through this pitch process of getting the ideas and throw out bad ideas. And we go through this a lot of times until we get the one idea that we push forward. But studio one is really pre-production. So in that studio, everyone gets kind of like a chance to do a bit of everything. But once the idea is resolved, we break up into teams. We need everything designed. We have an art department creating kind of all the designs of the characters, the environment, you know, you name it, all the concept artwork. We have assets being made in modeling department, rigging, animation starts a little bit, but really what happens then is we get previews and layout starting as well. So by the end of Studio One, what we hope to have is an animatic of a sort of basic playthrough of the short film. Then we put that on hold and we go into Studio Two. And it's quite funny. People kind of get so involved by Studio One by that point, and then suddenly we're changing gears and we're going into Studio Two, which is the emerging tech component. But actually, it's a lot of fun. Chelsea, what do you reckon? How did you find the switch between the two?
It was a bit of a surprise, but changing from so deep in a project to the start of a project again. But it was fun. It was a fun process.
Yeah, because it's the pitch again, right? You have to go through the whole pitch process. It's not like we have an idea, but yeah, it's good. So everyone's broken up into teams again in Studio Two, and you'll notice a theme here. We do teams a lot, and we mix up the teams a lot because being able to, you know, vocalize your idea, but also being able to understand how to let go of things is a big part of the process, and it's a big part of the industry as well. So in Studio Two, the teams come up with an idea for an emerging technology component. This can be anything from an experience to a game to AR to VR, a combination of all of them, you name it. And so then over the course of Studio Two, those teams will come up with a pitch, really. Mostly, I think Chelsea, I think every team did a working prototype, right? This year, is that right?
Most of them, yeah. I think one or two were kind of stitched together, but we all had something to play with.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's because it's you know, Unreal and Unity nowadays are getting easier to use, and the tools are amazing. And actually, we had one student this was one of our fine arts students, Tim, who had zero experience basically in sort of 3D or Unreal, and he put together basically a short film at the beginning for their pitch for one of their projects about this alien invasion in a you know, country town in America. It was amazing, and he did that in about 3 weeks using the tools. Like, it's so impressive. Anyway, so at the end of Studio Two, the teams pitched their ideas. This year, I think we had seven ideas, 7 teams. They pitched their ideas to a panel of industry experts. So we got people in from industry, from effects, from film, from IT, you name it. We had an amazing kind of group of panelists. Don't know what the plural is. Panelists, and then they choose one project to be the winner to take into Studio 3. So that was a bit hard for some people as well, because everyone puts all the time and effort into that. But again, what we encourage is, you know, this sense of collaboration. And to be honest, everyone was really excited about the project that got chosen to go into Studio 3 because it was pretty amazing. And then Studio 3. So we have a short break, we move into Studio 3, and in Studio 3 we finish both. We finish the short film and we take the winning project and we realize it, make it something that's a viable, usable, you know, experience or game. So yeah, it's pretty, and so that's what we're in the heart of now. It's pretty, you know, where animation is almost done. We're pushing into kind of post-production. So comp and lighting is starting. There's a lot happening. And then at the same time, we have a lot of people who were doing assets and art creation for the beginning of Studio One and now doing that for the emerging tech project in Studio 3, which is really exciting. Well, Chelsea, what are you working on at the moment? You're you're doing.
I've got 1 foot in each project.
Yeah.
I'm doing lighting and design.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're kicking off lighting as well. And yeah, cool, fun. So that's the year. That's the year. And it is pretty intense. There's a lot to do, but you do come away at the end of that with a good portfolio, with a strong idea of sort of what direction you want to head in, and kind of like with a total understanding of how the animation pipeline works, how assets are passed from department to department, how, feedback is done, how to work on, on review and asset management softwares like Shotgun and things like that. So it's just, in a sort of production environment, it's a lot of fun. Okay, next slide, please. This is something new that we're doing as well as of next year, which is the Graduate Certificate in Animation Visualization. So basically what this is the ability to do just Studio One. So you can do 4 months at the Academy just for Studio One and come away from there with a graduate certificate in animation visualization. Of course, this is, for people who have been unsure, you'd like to dip your toe into the Academy, you can do this, and there's always then the opportunity to carry on after that point and join us for the rest of the Academy. But this is something that's quite new that we're very excited about. There are limited spaces for this, of course. So if you are interested in this, let us know as soon as possible. Great, next slide, please. Okay, our achievements. We have been ranked #1 globally for immersive media and mobile production excellence by the Rookies. Hopefully you all know about the Rookies. The Rookies is a great industry website run and created by some ex-Animal Logic employees. And they help people who don't have industry experience, Rookies, get into display their work, get feedback from people in the industry, and help them get work, which is great. So we've had awards over the years from Rookies, SIGGRAPH, the AEAF. We get a lot of good industry feedback, and I think out of all of this, the kind of like the big main things that I like to focus on. One is the graduate employment success. 90% of our graduates get employment. But really, the thing that I find the best and the most successful is the feedback that we get from industry. Every time we have a chat to people at ILM or at Animal or at Flying Bark, Rising Sun, and so on, and they have graduates there, they are just, so amazingly positive about that experience and about how the graduates work when they enter the company. And for me, that's kind of like the industry feedback is the biggest achievement we've had. I think it's fantastic. Okay, next slide, please. Some past projects. So you can go to our website and take a look at our past projects. I recommend you all do that because they are amazing. So for last year, our past project was Bounty Hunter, and Subaqua was the Studio 3 project. As you can see there, we've done Color Thief was a short animated film the year before. Jasper was a mixed media short film that the students worked on as well. So there's been a whole sort of range of different projects that the students have worked on over the years. And it doesn't just, different opportunities do come up across the year as well, because we do get calls from industry for if students are available for other projects or other experiences across the year, which is pretty exciting. But all of these are on the website, so you can take a look at them yourself. I recommend having a look. Okay, next slide, please. International careers. So we do get a lot of international careers. We are also in touch with a lot of international companies. We have contacts with people and companies overseas in America and Europe and in Asia. The industry now is, and this is I did mention this. I did mention this in the video, but I'll just say it again. There was a big stimulus package from government to help support the film industry, and right now we're seeing like a huge boom in work for animation and visual effects. And why is that? That's because, unfortunately, due to circumstances, people can't be sort of, near each other as much. And, I've got friends who are working in live action at the moment who are finding it hard to get work because a lot of live action productions have been shut down. What happened the other day? Batman got shut down the other day because Patterson got COVID. And, these things are really susceptible to current times. But animation, amazingly, and visual effects is not. We're seeing a huge demand from streaming services, from Netflix has just requested a lot of work from a few different Australian companies. You've got, because we need that content, and that content can be made by the animation industry because it can be created by artists who can work remotely. So right now is really, really the perfect time to be entering this industry, to be kind of learning these skills as well. And it really is kind of, has a lot more potential for work over the coming years than a lot of other industries in the arts because of this money coming in and this demand for content. It's really, really exciting. So yeah, it's just, looks like it's a sunny future for our artists over the coming years. Okay, next slide, please. So the big one, how to apply. Go to the website, you can see there at the top, and go through the selection criteria. Portfolio, academic record, and your personal statement. Now, I really just, really do want to reiterate that everyone who's half considering or kind of thinking about it should apply. Don't worry if if you don't think your portfolio is up to scratch or you don't have enough skills in certain software, because we want to see your work. And the other thing is as well is that we are able to give you feedback. If you do apply and you're not quite sure whether or not your portfolio is good enough, feel free to send it through and we can let you know. Because we do want to support the industry as much as possible. We do want to support you as much as possible. And I know some of the feedback we've been given in the past where people felt that they didn't necessarily have the high enough level of skills to apply. And look, it couldn't be further from the truth. Really, you just, enthusiasm goes a long way. Your need to enthusiasm to work and to learn. But I would just kind of give us a shout and send through your work, because you never know. I think you'll be surprised by by how much your work can reflect what your potential is. So don't be scared at all. Hey Chelsea, I was just trying, while I was saying that, I was just trying to think, what was your portfolio? What did you send through to us?
So my portfolio was mostly design, mostly composition-based stuff, with very little 3D work.
That's right.
Yeah. When I first was going to apply, I was planning on studying for 6 months on animation and then applying with that extra little kick.
Mm-hmm.
But I came to this information night last year with Ben and Matt, and I figured, hey, why not? And the next week I had been accepted. So I recommend just going for it, honestly. It's definitely worth it.
You've done cinematography and layout now for the short film. You've been working in Unreal and Unity since then as well.
I've learned a lot more technical stuff than what I came in with.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. So basically what happens is you send through your portfolio and academic record and personal statement, what you're interested in, and then we give you a call and there's an interview process. If we think that your skills are up to the level, if not, we will give you feedback and let you know what you can kind of work on in order to progress. But I really recommend doing it sooner than you think. Don't hold back. Don't wait till later. It's worth getting in touch with us. Fantastic. All right, so next slide, please, Jen. There we go. We're done. Questions. So I'll pop open the Q&A here, and feel free to to ask us questions, or if there's something specifically you'd like to ask Chelsea, let us know. And actually, the first one I think is over to Chelsea. So Chelsea, maybe I'll ask it for you. All right. So I assume that students will be learning a lot of the skills needed and aren't expected to know everything at the start. How does this learning process work whilst working on a studio project at the same time? Good question.
So I think this one can be pretty anecdotal. At the beginning of the course, I didn't know very much technical stuff. I knew my way around Maya, and I knew a little bit of the animation side of things, but other than that, I was purely a visual artist. But at ALA, I've learned how to use all of the technical programs and the technical aspects of things. Mostly it's learn as you go. So when I'm confused about something, I go to one of the leads, or I go to one of my buddies, and if I'm stuck somewhere, it's all of the resources are there to help you learn while working on the project. It's a good environment, and just the whole thing. It's great. It's great.
That's good.
We also have Friday self-directed learning. So sometimes when I find myself a little bit confused about something, I'll focus on that in my own time, which is Fridays.
Well, that actually leads perfectly into the next question. So I'll just, this one's for you as well, Chelsea, but I might add a bit to it too. Does our portfolio decide our major in the course, or can we choose to learn a major from scratch?
Again, I started out with only visual art and a teensy bit of animation and modeling, and I haven't done much of either this course. I've mostly been learning new skills and kind of going where it leads me. So the portfolio isn't like a guideline. It's more of a jump off point.
Yeah. So what we want to do, or actually what I should say, in the first couple of weeks of the Studio One, we do this fun thing, and I feel like I'm giving away something. Maybe I should. But look, I don't want to give it too much away, but basically we do this thing where everyone gets to try every single part of the pipeline. So it doesn't matter if you've never touched a computer before, you're going to do some coding, right? And it's a fun little kind of, it's not a test, it's just fun, but people do discover areas that they love. Now, that being said, obviously what we have to do at the end of the year is deliver a short film, and we deliver, an emerging technology component. So if someone comes in and they want to learn how to animate and have never animated before ever, we have to get things to a certain level, obviously an industry level, at the end of the year. So I am working with a couple of the students at the moment who for pretty much for most of the year, who the animation skills weren't up to the level that they wanted to get to, but I have been working with them on the side and on their Fridays to get them there, and they will be taking on some extra shots on their short film by the end of the year, because they've been practicing that while they're working in other departments. So no, you are not completely defined by your portfolio or by how you enter at all. Okay, Brian, question from Brian. If students were to come in with a strong interest of wanting to specialize in a specific field like creature modeling or concept art, matte painting, do students have to compete to earn that responsibility, or is it shared? No, look, it is absolutely shared, but like everywhere in the industry, it is competitive. just by nature of you know, skill. Some people will gravitate towards certain areas and they will end up doing kind of more work because they can get work approved faster. But really, we don't kind of like deny people the ability to do character design or environment design at all. You know, everyone has the opportunity to do and develop the areas and skills that they want completely. That being said, character and environment design are two very competitive fields out there in, you know, in the world, and it's something that if you're interested in, you know, you do have to get those skills up pretty high. Okay, here's one. Are there ever mature age students in the MAV, or is it a younger demographic? Absolutely, there are old mature age students, 100%. I don't want to out anyone in our current year, but we do have more than a couple of students who are in their 30s, I think. And yeah, it is not just for people graduating straight out of uni at all. Okay, next question. What is the technology like to use there? How is the IT support? Look, it's fantastic. So hardware-wise, we're on sort of industry kind of bleeding edge standard. Technology-wise, 100% as well. Where we have great IT support from our team. They're the ones who set up the entire system that can be run remotely. So basically, within the course of sort of a week, they had a studio with like 60 computers running remotely, running, you know, edit, running rendering, running servers, all through VPNs, able to be on pipeline from home, which is impressive. Interacting with software like Shotgun, you know, Maya, Houdini, you name it. It's you know, it's just fantastic. IT support is not something that you will need to worry. I don't know, Chelsea, have you ever needed any IT support over the course of the year?
I've had a few crashes, but nothing big.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, that's generally kind of some software-based stuff rather than anything kind of, you know, to do with the pipeline or anything. I mean, it's running pretty smoothly. Okay, Chelsea, what kind of skills have you gained or further developed this year through your learning? Any that surprised you?
Oh, that's a good question. A lot of technical skills. I've learnt a bit of coding, which was very surprising for me. I think learning Nuke was pretty exciting, because all of my compositing had been in After Effects. So learning Nuke was I think the most exciting for me. Just the node system, and that knowledge being transferable over to Katana was also pretty helpful. But learning in session 2, I was a lead for one of our project pitches, and I think that position surprised me a lot. I'd never really seen myself as a lead, but trying it out was very fun. So I guess the interpersonal side of the whole thing, that was pretty good.
Yeah, great. Someone else asking, if I come from a design background, illustration and character arts, but I want to develop skills in animation or coding, does this course teach students these new skills, or are we expected to have the fundamental skills? So yeah, look, same as before. You are not expected to know 100% of, you know, all these skills, because how can you? That's the point of the academy. That's the point of the course. You know, we do like people to, obviously, if you're a coder, you know, and you get thrown in the deep end of the short film, you won't be able to kind of contribute 100% from day one. We do kind of teach people across the course of the year. But like I said previously, we do have to hit a level, but we try and get everyone to that level over the course of the year. So, and that's what the Self-Learning Fridays are for as well. So if someone wants to, is in one area, but they're really interested in, say, another department, we try and accommodate that. We do make sure that people get the opportunity to learn those skills as well. Like I was saying, two of our students from last year had 0 3D experience, and one of them ended up in animation, and the other one is in lighting. You know, the person Tim, the one who's ended up doing that amazing work in Unreal. You know, just turned out some incredible stuff. So, look, absolutely, you don't have to have a very strong kind of basis in those areas in order to apply. Okay, from Joseph, are creative careers in high demand relative to technical careers in the animation field, both in Australia and overseas? Absolutely. Look, 100%. Like I was saying, the animation industry is just booming at the moment. So many different services need that content, and there is a lot of work that is coming to Australia. You know that ILM opened a studio on the last year, so there's a lot of Disney and Star Wars work is going through ILM. Flying Bark has lots of work on. You know, there is a lot happening currently, but also it's the same. Sorry, it's the same everywhere. Every kind of city from that has a big sort of visual effects and animation industry, you know, London, New York, LA, Vancouver, all has all of this work on. There's really, you know, there's quite a lot happening. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be in the industry. All right. Chelsea, what has been your favorite part of learning at the Academy?
Definitely the studio environment. It's the sense of camaraderie is fun. There's no other way to say it. And I feel prepared for when I graduate, for when I go into the industry. I feel like that's definitely my favorite part, just making friends and feeling prepared, feeling confident.
Yeah, which I should just reiterate, we're still managing by remote.
the metaphorical in the studio.
So a lot of the communication, 90% of the communication at the moment by the students is done via Slack and Zoom. So we'll be on Slack constantly talking, and then we have Zoom running the whole time. So we've got a social Zoom that runs that you know, people are just having running while they're working. You know, because to make it feel like you're in that studio environment, you have your team there. I know the different teams do that as well. So we've got constant team Zooms. There's a lunchtime Zoom that's up as well for people who just kind of join in and join in for lunch. But the social one's really fun, and that, you know, goes across the Fridays as well. It's cool. Okay. What sort of computer equipment should we have at home? Even if we have access to the software remotely, my computer is a bit older and I'm not sure if we'll be able to run them well. So the fantastic thing about running a VPN is that it really doesn't come down to your computer hardware, because literally you're running a computer remotely more or less through a website, right? So as long as your computer can get online and you can, you know, open a website, you can run, you know, high-end software and hardware, because you're you know, it's like a digital control. You're you know, working it remotely, so it's fine. Well, I think we can, you know, there were some students who are running Mac as well, but yeah, everything's been working fine. Okay, from Jasper, how many pieces of work would you like to see in a student's portfolio when they apply? Should we treat it like a studio application with a 2-minute or less show reel, or can it be longer? Look, really good question. I would generally say 2 minutes or less, just because it's nice to see what you, you know, what you put focus on. But I understand, of course, that a lot of you have got work that you've done in other areas and want to show that off. So that's fine. You know, at this point, we just want to see what you've been doing. So you don't have to be too worried about being like a job interview, right? It's really us just getting a sense of the work that you've done, and you know, what kind of fields you worked in and that kind of thing. So yeah, you can put it all in there. That's fine.
I think mine was about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. Great. Yeah, good, good. And look, that's, don't, I would say not showing 10 minutes, but, because, there's that, though it's too long, but yeah, if you've got anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, that's not a problem. Oh, we're running low on time, so I'm just going to burn through some questions quickly. Other than the studio heads, leaders, and other students, will the creative have the opportunity to gain feedback from industry professionals or super professionals through ALA? Absolutely. We do get our industry speakers to look at our work throughout the year. And of course, we do encourage students to stay in touch with our speakers as well. And, they develop those relationships through the course. Plus, a big part of it is feedback from your peers and showing your work to the people that, the other students there as well. So it's, it's all part of the fun. Okay. How does the course allow a 3D modeler or texture artist improve and push their skills throughout the year? Is it through repetition and feedback, agile, or something more similar to a mentorship? I'd say it's both. Look, because look, a big thing, like I was saying before, the difference between a junior and a senior. A senior, if given feedback on something, will throw the work away and start again. A junior will often kind of try to push the work into what is needed. And what we encourage, what we really, really encourage and force, is starting again, throwing away the work, starting again, throwing it away, starting again. And because that's what happens in industry. You can't kind of present your work again just slightly altered when you've asked for a change in a department, no matter what department you're in. You have to start it again. And that process of starting again gets you used to that practice, and also really increases your skills. I mean, it's amazing. Chelsea, I mean, how much do you think compared to the beginning of the year, like if you had to turn some work around quickly now, like, I mean, how much faster are you at it?
Oh, lightning quick. At the beginning of the year, I would have mulled over it, but
yeah,
just going now.
yeah. I mean, and you don't kind of, you can, that phrase, kill your darlings, you're used to it now, you can do more things, and yeah. Matt, does that mean that each student gets assigned a computer and a desk just for themselves? Yes, they do.
And they all have cute animal names.
Yeah, there is. Everyone gets a desk, and at the moment the desks are separated, of course, so we have one desk in between every other desk, so everyone's spaced out. But you do get your own space that you can kind of dress up and do what you want with it. And that is the computer that you'll be logging into when you work remotely. Just like a real studio. Okay, and last question here from Brian. How does the course allow, oh no, and that was a thing. I did that one already. Fantastic. Is there a share on site, Matt? I'm actually not too sure, but maybe someone else can answer that one by text. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you are inspired and you do want to see what the students are working on, please follow us on our socials, because we post to there a lot and send updates of all the work and everything that everyone's doing. You can see our past work on the website. And of course, please, come and join us. I'd love to see your work. I would all like to see your portfolios, what you've been working on. And if you do have any other questions, of course, please feel free to reach out and ask us, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help. So thanks so much, Chelsea. That was great.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Okay, thanks everyone, and I look forward to seeing your application soon.